ended up being a real tough investigation working along DEA and OBN, and became one of the largest drug busts in the state's history. So that was kept kind of quiet throughout the year because there were some cartels involved, but all of them are in jail now and all have been prosecuted, so we're proud of that. Thank you. Emergency management side, we had 5 activations this year as far as our emergency operations center, and then outdoor warning system activations, we had 6 activations for the year. All I got. Thank you.
I think I said that in January, right? Any other department heads that I might have missed? Okay, that's everything in the city manager's report, ma'am.
Item 6 minutes, discussion, consideration, possible action to approve minutes of the regular meeting of the council of February 3rd, 2025.
I make a motion that we approve minutes.
Second.
Take a vote. Councilwoman Brown?
Aye.
Councilman Tatum?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion passes. Item 7, surplus items for former library. Discussion, consideration, possible action to approve or deny declaring the items listed in Exhibit A to the council agenda as surplus to the city's needs. Authorize final disposition of these items as approved by the city manager.
I make a motion that we approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Take a vote. Councilwoman Brown?
Aye.
Councilman Tatum?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion passes. Item 8, surplus items, City Hall. Discussion, consideration, possible action to approve or deny declaring the items listed in Exhibit B to the council agenda as surplus to the city's needs. Authorize final disposition of these items as approved by the city manager.
I make a motion that we approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Take a vote. Councilwoman Brown?
Aye.
Councilman Tatum?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion passes. Item 9, assess abatement cost to property owners. Discussion, consideration, possible action to approve and ratify or deny and remove the assessment cost in the total amount of $6,273.16 to property owners for cleanup of property previously abated in accordance with City Code Sections 13-106 through 13-114. City Attorney, do I just read the address and the total?
If you would, read the address, the owner, and the total, please.
Okay, thank you.
Is this going to be your motion, ma'am?
Okay, I will make this as a motion to approve. Yes, sir. Okay, first one, 2021, Connie, owner, Westlake Rental Properties, LLC, Edmond, Oklahoma, $439.54. Item 2, 4128 Southeast 25th, Caleb Smith, Del City, Oklahoma, $529.54. Item 3, 4509 Southeast 26th, Robert Myers, Edmond, Oklahoma, and Citigroup Mortgage Loan Trust, 2022. Total amount, $434.54. Item 4, 4773 Southeast 24th, Abby Handley, Del City, Oklahoma. Total amount, $4869.54.
Second.
Of course, I vote yes. Councilman Tatum.
Aye.
Councilwoman Brown.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Motion passes. JD, that last one, that was for the property right across from the Middale School, right? Yes. That's it. Thank you, Kelly. Item 10, ordinance, special use permit, for a tattoo and body piercing studio at 4711 and 4713 Southeast 29th Street. PC-UR 671-25. Discussion, consideration, possible action to approve with modifications, approve and ratify, deny, or require additional information adopting ordinance 1435 for a request for a special use permit for a tattoo and body piercing studio for a property located at 4711 and 4713 Southeast 29th. All of lots 8 through 13 in Block 2, Hassel Edition per PC application PC-UR 671-25. Public hearing before Planning Commission on January 30th, 2025, declaring repealer and providing for severability, approved by Planning Commission on January 30th, 2025. Authorize mayor to endorse same.
Make a motion that we approve
Second.
this, I think I need to say a little bit more. Adopting ordinances 1435 for request for a special use permit in a tattoo and a body piercing studio at properties located at 4711 and 4713 Southeast 29th Street. And declare, let's see. And why don't we, and then authorize mayor to endorse same. Mayor, do I need to read any other part about declaring repealer or providing
No,
severability?
no, you're fine.
So that's my motion.
I will second that beautifully stated motion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any discussion?
We might have the,
Yeah, do we have anyone coming from the audience that want to speak on the tattoo and body piercing shop? Okay, welcome. Hello. State your name and address, please.
My name is Jeremy Golden. I'm actually at 2501 Southeast 46th, Oklahoma City. Well, we're trying to open a tattoo shop in Del City. I graduated from Del City High School in 2002. I've lived in Del City on and off since the mid-1990s. Went through the May 3rd tornado. Never seen anything like a tattoo shop in Del City. When I was a kid, you know, there were no tattoo shops and it was illegal and it was very exotic to see such a thing. But now in society, it's very normal, and there's a lot of people who live in Del City who would like to benefit from a tattoo shop that's local, and I would like to be a part of that, being a local person. That's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jeremy. In the past, we've had a couple of tattoo shops come in and apply for permitting, but I guess they never got their funding or their sources, so we welcome you. All right, let's take a vote. Councilman Dean?
aye.
Councilwoman Brown?
Aye.
Councilman Tatum?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes. Welcome to Del City. Item 11, purchase of HVAC system for Senior Citizens Recreation Center. Discussion, consideration, possible action to approve with modifications, or deny the purchase of a new HVAC system for the Senior Citizens Recreation Center from Lock Supply in the amount not to exceed $19,000.
Make a motion that we approve the purchase of an HVAC system for the Senior Citizen Recreation Center from Lock Supply in the amount not to exceed $19,000.
Second?
Any discussion?
Yes, where is the funding coming from? Is this the community budget?
So this is actually going to be a little bit of leftover money we have from the ARPA funds. ARPA, after the completion of the water analog to digital water meter project. There we go. I had to make sure I got it right for federal purposes. We had a little bit of money left over that could be used for certain items to mitigate COVID, including HVAC systems, so we were able to put it into this to take care of this one item.
Does this include installation?
I believe it's purchased, yes, in its entirety, excuse me.
Okay, awesome. Okay, any other discussion? Take a vote. Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman Tatum?
Aye.
Councilwoman Brown?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes. Item 12, expenditure supplies and labor related to painting the Senior Citizens Recreation Center. Discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve with modifications, or deny the expenditure supplies and labor in the amount not to exceed $20,000 to the lowest responsible bidder for painting at the Senior Citizen and Recreation Center.
Before you all make a motion, this is one of the items we had the handout for you. We have 3 different bids for you all to receive, and the bid that we have chosen is Skyline. Thank you, I have to make sure I understand it right. Yes, but it helps, I actually have the document right here. It'd help if I'd actually pull it up.
Kelly, can you explain to us why you chose that particular vendor?
We did several walkthroughs with the contractors there at the community center. This is a new contractor that we have not had experience with on projects, but he did a thorough job in reviewing what we were looking for. He was very reasonable on the price, actually came in as the lowest bidder, and willing to work with Dell City in the timeframe that we needed to complete the project, which is by March 7th. So we had a very tight deadline, so I am excited about their willingness and excitement for the project.
Okay, when you do these, do they come with recommendations, or?
Yes, our building inspector is familiar with them, so it came from them and a couple of other personal references that were referred to.
Thank you.
I understand that there are some more possibilities of, I guess, maybe some changes to the community center. Is painting a priority as far as painting is, spending this on painting instead of flooring or carpet or something different? Is that going to be a separate?
The flooring quotes are in the process, so we just finalized a floor pick yesterday, so we're waiting on the quotes for those to bring you, so likely you'll see that on Monday's agenda.
Okay, and is this just the interior, and that's like in the library and all of the rooms and the bathrooms and the closets? Where are you painting?
This is going to be in the old library section, the main building, so it'll be the ceilings, the pillars, the walls, the brick. It'll also include the break room, the entrances to the restroom, the office, and a small storage room. That
Okay.
will be what's painted, and the flooring, except for the break room and the bathrooms, will be installed with your approval, of course.
Okay, and the entrances, the lobby is not going to be touched
No,
at
we're not
this
touching
point?
that. No.
Okay, and what's the color?
What, Deja New? No, the paint is agreeable gray, the flooring is Deja New, likely. Something like that. Pearl white, sorry.
Okay, great, thank you.
Kelly, is this is like the flooring and the different parts, are we following any of the plans, the different plans that we had for the community center, or are we just
From a
fixing?
previous architect?
So the previous architect had the plans, had the different parts, so.
No, we have not followed any of the previous architect plans. We've just done minimal renovations with the funds that we have available through the special tax that we had.
And so is this flooring, is it going to be a hard floor, or is
It's
it?
a hard floor, similar to what was installed upstairs, except a commercial grade, so a longer lifespan for the traffic that we'll have. We came to you a couple of council meetings ago and discussed the grant that we were applying for TSEP for
Right.
the exercise class and the recreation things that we'll be having, so we kept that in mind when we were selecting floors for
Right.
the type of events we would be having there.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, where was the budget? What are we using? Which budget is
The
this coming
special
from?
sales tax where we said we would be renovating the senior citizen center. That's where we'll be pulling it from.
All right, at this time, I'm looking for a motion.
Make a motion to approve having Skyline Painting Pro LLC paint the Senior Citizen Recreation Center for $10,500.
Second?
Take a vote. Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Councilman Tatum.
Aye.
Councilwoman Brown.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes.
Ma'am, with your permission, if we could take a 10-minute recess?
All right, right here, we're going to take a recess for 10 minutes. Joe, start the time clock.
We did? And I came. There we go. All right, returning from recess. Good pizza, JD. Good job on that, whoever did it. I apologize for being late. I had medical appointment that I couldn't change, but I'm back on track. And I understand you stopped at item number 13. Is that correct, Vice Mayor? We will begin at item 13, renewal of agreement with Central Square for police CAD RMS. Discussion, authorization to renew annual agreement with Central Square and the Police Department. This agreement would renew the agreement entered into with Central Square on November 6, 2023, and extend the agreement until February 2026. The annual cost to renew this agreement is $79,764.32. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the authorization to renew annual agreement with the Central Square and Police Department.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
If I could, Mayor, just for clarification, so this is a multi-year contract that we have signed. It requires every year that you authorize the expenditure of the funds. So all that you're doing with this is authorizing the expenditure of those funds from that contract for this fiscal year.
Continuing it. Yep. Thank you. Any further discussion? Take the vote. Councilman Finch?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman Brown?
Aye.
Councilman Tatum?
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. The motion carries. Move on to item number 14, Memorandum of Agreement, Oklahoma Department of Environmental Quality On-Road 2 Program. Discussion, consideration, possible action to approve or deny entering into a memorandum of agreement between the City of Del City and the Oklahoma Department of Environmental Quality to accept financial assistance in the amount of $206,000, $206,845 from the On-Road 2 program for the purchase of a medium-class CNG dump truck to be used by the Streets Department. Authorize city manager to endorse agreement and grant documents. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve as written, authorize city manager to endorse agreement and grant documents.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Does this include the CNG refilling station?
No, we have to go to on-queue for that. That's a different request that we have with ONG if we end up building up our CNG fleet.
Okay. Good deal. Let's take the vote. Councilman Finch.
Aye.
Councilman Tatum.
Aye.
Councilman Brown.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. The motion carries. Item number 15 is employment agreement, city manager. Discussion, consideration, possible action to approve or deny entering into an employment agreement for city manager with James D. Hawk, effective July 1, 2025 to June 30, 2026. Authorize mayor to endorse same. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve entering into an employment agreement for city manager with James D. Hawk, effective July 1, 2025 to June 30th, 2026, and authorize mayor to endorse same.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I was just noticing before he read that he was squirming a little bit in his seat.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
That's all I have.
Okay, noted. JD, do you have anything you want to say before we vote on this?
I hope you. Yeah, thank you, yeah, thank you in advance.
I like a positive outlook. Let's take the vote. Councilman Tatum.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Councilman Finch.
Aye.
Councilman Brown.
Aye.
And the mayor votes aye. The motion carries. Congratulations, JD. We're really proud of you, JD. You're doing a good job.
Thank you, J.D.
Is there any further council input? That's 16.
16, son.
It's not on my sheet. Grant appropriation. Wow, my 16 says council input. Can I borrow yours? Clerical error. It's okay. All right, we're at item number 16, grant appropriation discussion, master plan for Dale City Community Parks, Ray Trent and Sequoia with consultant GH2 Architects. Discussion, consideration, possible action to approve with modifications, or deny the proposed Parks Master Plan as provided by the Dale City Community Development Department with GH2 Architects through an Oklahoma Tobacco Settlement Endowment Trust, TSET grant. The total cost of the Parks Master Plan for Ray Trent Park and Sequoia Park shall not exceed $120,000. Authorize mayor to endorse same.
I've got something to ask before we do this. There was a question about whether or not we're going to go with GH2 in the end. So do we want to make this more open-ended to authorize the $120,000 without a particular company?
Also, I have a question. If this is a master parks plan, shouldn't all the parks be included in this documentation?
Should we open a discussion on this to keep it legit?
Yes.
Yes. So, hold
Make
right
a
there.
motion that we open the discussion on the parks.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. The motion is to open discussion on the master plan for Dale City Community. Is there any discussion before we vote to open the discussion? Seeing none, let's take the vote. Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Councilman Tatum.
Aye.
Councilman Brown.
Aye.
Councilman Finch.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. We are now open for discussion. Who
Mayor,
would like to
Council.
lead this off? You're going to lead it off?
I am.
State your name for the city clerk.
Yeah, for sure. My name's Andrew Myers, City Planner, Mayor, Council. Good afternoon. So to answer the questions, yes, we do want to go with GH2 instead of just leaving it open-ended. This is an agreement between the City of Dale City and GH2, which would allow a development of that Parks Master Plan for Ray Trent and Sequoia. This will be the allocation of the TSET grant money that we received last year in hopes to make our parks a healthy living area. The plan will be used in a GO bond election this upcoming spring. The structure of this plan is actually broken out into 2 phases for each of the parks. The first phase will just all be the GO bond materials, so all the renderings, all the conceptual stuff. And then the second one is going to be all of the supporting documentation on the parks plan. The GO bond materials will be delivered to the City of Dale City beforehand so that we can use it in that election. There are line items included in the Ray Trent proposal relating to survey and floodplain work. I think total it's about $80,000. We are not agreeing to that. Those are merely just numbers that need to happen. We do not have to pay them that. The numbers are not included in the estimate.
So I haven't really got to hear anything about a GO bond election. So there's new things popping out with this one.
So our goal, just to give you the GO bond talk, is we're actually going to have open public hearings about that coming to collect all of our input and goals and whatnot. Right now, we are looking into doing a GO bond. Our next GO bond is going to be expiring, that's been on for the past 10 years. It's coming up to expiration by November of 25, I believe, or is it 20? Yes. So we're trying to come up with different options available to us of what we want to see in the GO bond, giving different examples, one of them being the parks increases based off of the 20-year comprehensive plan that we've done, going more in depth with this with TSET funding so that we can see what funding different grants have available for us versus what we would ask the GO bond, or we would ask to have it put on the general obligation bonds for us to do in the future. That's going to be coming on March the 3rd, so we're 1 week ahead of schedule on that one.
Okay, explain to me, because you just said, again, Ray Trent Park and Sequoia Park, how can we include the other parks in this master plan so that they're not left? Just for the fact that if we include all the parks, if there's any extra left over, like we did on the water meters earlier, we can apply it to some of our other parks to upgrade them a little bit.
Yes, ma'am. So these are master plans for the individual parks. We have not forgotten about the other parks. These are just the 2 biggest parks. We want these to be the anchors for the city. So it's on the north and the south side. So that's what we are tackling first with the TSET money. Yes, ma'am.
So for this money, are we just doing these two parks because that there was $120,000 left out of the TSET money, or?
Well, they're two of the largest parks in the city of Del City, so they are attractors. So if we can get them up to the master plan standards, they might be able to attract other people to come into the city of Del City. Sorry, Kyle.
Just to add to that, it boils down to they're some of the most visible. I understand where Sequoia sits it's in a neighborhood, but when you have Ray Trent on our highway frontage and you have it being as large as it is and as visible it is, that is where a majority of the concentration is, more for the visibility. Part of that is because of the comprehensive plan. It was a major focus of the comprehensive plan. This also allows us grant funding. So we will work with OWRB to use this as a test bed potentially for flood mitigation. It has a lot of potential. We're dreaming pie in the sky for Ray Trent such that it's hopefully going to be comparable to something like the Gathering Place in Tulsa. And so for us to get there, we're having to simplify it. I mean, we have mini parks. Is it 17? I can't remember the total number of parks that we have. And so if we were to master plan for all of those parks, we wouldn't get them to the level that we're going to get these two parks. So as
lesser impact.
Yes, lesser impact. We are going for the biggest possible impact, and this will allow us to grow into how to get grant funding for parks, which we have some experience in, but this will allow things to be shovel ready. Phase 2 of this is, so phase 1 revolves around the imagery of it. Phase 2 revolves around, this is step 1 through 100 to get to this final product, something that we have that as part of our comprehensive plan, but this is a more, what's the word I'm looking for? A more refined step-by-step programmatic way to get to the end product, which is what we need when it comes to something this visible.
So, well, $120,000 is not that much. That's why I was surprised that you threw in Sequoia, just for the fact that before, when we went through our master parks plan, it was going to be way more than $120,000 to just do Ray Trent Park.
So GH2 is actually one of the 3 firms that we approved to work with, in January? 4 firms. This is the firm that is more architectural or it's what they do. So we're getting a good deal for the amount of work that we're getting out of them. This is sort of a star in their crown potential, what we've asked them for. So
I hope they make it shine.
And so from my understanding, Kyle, is that we need to have the master parks plans just so that you can go to TSET and ask for money, bigger amounts of monies to go through this park.
Yes, this.
As far as for like Cheyenne, for our Cheyenne Park, it's also over, by the water plant. Besides that, it might be used for a water, for our water plant, but also for the other parks. Is if we can get grant money for the Ray Trent or Sequoia, then that frees up city money to go and spend $100,000 would go a long ways for any of the parks.
That is absolutely the intent. This is to make this a very grant-centric plan.
Kyle, I wanted to add that we had also earlier on in the year and maybe even late the year before, we had some meetings about also including trails. Is that going to be a part of this? It sounds like we're excluding the trails part. I know that, we had some really good feedback from people saying that they would really like to improve walking trails, bike trails, because we would like to get access to those parks.
Yes, ma'am. So trails are not excluded from this. They are going to be in the master plan, especially for Ray Trent and Sequoia, both of those. However, they will just be in the plan, and then once we get the steps, then we will know how to get to the trails.
And I think that you brought up a great one, which is we really have to finish our part of the bike trail, that we've talked about going across the retention pond, area next to the Church of Christ, and
this
try to
was-
tie things in.
This will certainly help with that when you're talking about sort of connecting Sooner Road, which is the Bomber Trail for Midwest City. We can at least plan to get to Ray Trent and beyond at that point, potentially to Eagle Lake as part of this. But this will be a contributing factor to getting grant funding for those trails.
Is there anything that we should be looking at or adding to this part? Because Ms. Brown goes to lots of the ACOG meetings, and there's lots of funds there, but of course, for all these things, we need to have plans.
As part of the discussions that we had with GH2, we ensured that they were concentrating on specific grants that could be applied to this, and that the plan was written such that it's going to make it much more easy to apply for those grants. They also will help us apply for those grants. GH2 specifically may not, but they have experience with it, and we will have help applying for those grants.
And that's one of the things that we've had the problems in the past, ACOG specific. There are some very large amounts of money that we'd very much like to go for, and the biggest thing we needed was engineered plans, shovel-ready projects, things of that nature. So you all allowing us to hire those 4 different engineering firms to have on hand, and then now having these plans that we can put together so that we can hand them these shovel-ready projects will benefit us greatly whenever we're trying to get those additional points to be able to get the larger amounts of money.
Without being too picky, could we then, instead of doing 2 parks, could we concentrate on Ray Trent and then go bigger with the actual parks with the actual trails and bike lanes?
So my recommendation would be that we continue with Sequoia. There is a lot of potential with potential development in that area where Leonhardt will be tied in with some new residential neighborhoods. This would be a draw, a very large draw, and an amenity in that area that would help with that. The amount of money that we will spend after the fact will be far less than what we would spend on Ray Trent. So to have this in the beginning, I would really recommend that we plan for Sequoia as one of those other anchors. We have a lot of interest from national agencies like the National Fitness Campaign and some others that want to help partner with us, potentially Thunder Cares and others, and we need to get a plan together that we can present to them to get that investment nationally in that park specifically.
Okay. Anything else?
I just have to say, I've been asking for a park in Ward 3. It has to be said. It has to be said. I've been asking for a park in Ward 3. So while approving this and really being very happy for Del City as a whole, please remember, it echoes in your mind, I'm sure, but I, would really like to see something, at least, give me something. Thank you.
All right. Any further discussion? I'll entertain a motion to close the discussion portion.
I make a motion that we close the discussion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Take the vote. Councilman Brown. Aye. Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Councilman Finch.
Aye.
Councilman Tatum.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. The discussion portion is now closed. I will now entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we approve the proposed parks master plan as provided by the Del City Community Development Department and GH2 Architects through the Oklahoma Tobacco Settlement Endowment Trust Grant for $120,000. Authorize mayor to endorse same.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? You look like you were going to cue your mic. Fine. Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Councilman Brown.
Aye.
Councilman Tatum.
Aye.
Councilman Finch.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. The motion carries. Item number 17 is council input. Any further council input?
Yes, sir. While you were gone, we had a discussion about dogs and...
About dogs?
Dogs. And one of the big problems that we have with our dog catcher is they don't have any place to take the dogs to. So we keep on renewing our agreement with Oklahoma City.
Correct.
And Oklahoma City has a strict limit of, I believe, 40 a day, and of which you're only allowed to bring 20 a day in for, this is citizens, anybody else who has it. And once they hit that number, they don't bring any more in. And this comes back to one of these, this great idea to have a no-kill in the 405. I don't know if you've seen that little part. But anyway, it's our shelter that we're using is not accepting things per contract. I don't know if we can go and ask them and say that, you know what, we have the contract, here's our 50 dogs for the day, please take these 50, and that they can't say no, but currently they do. But I think that we need to try to have a very good discussion with our dog catchers and find out what is, what, in the animal control, sorry, there are cats that get out. So anyway, with the animal control and be able to figure out what is the problem. Because we know that they work very hard and they're very diligent at their jobs, but they can only do what they can do, and I think that we need to look.
I've heard some ideas batted around about a temporary containment area, and that's something we probably ought to look into with the city manager. Maybe that's something you could explore and bring to us at a later meeting? Would you do that?
Or possibly Midwest City, or see whatever their options there are.
Alternate
But I mean, they're all difficult. But thank you.
I have a question for our attorney. Do you know offhand what our fine is for an animal that's just roaming?
I don't. We generally have two fine levels. One's up to $200 and one's up to $750, and I'm not sure off the top of my head which that is. But I'll also tell you that, the comment was made that we should fine and use that money to pay. The fine and the collection of the fine are two separate things. And it is very, very difficult to realize that money even when you have a $750 fine. So a simple solution in reality is not as simple as it sounds. And just one other comment on the animal control with Oklahoma City. They have never been very receptive. We tried to renegotiate that last year, change some terms, and they were not receptive to renegotiating that. Basically, we were told it was their terms or find another shelter.
Okay, something to explore. Yes, sir. All right. Brings us up to item number 18.
Make a motion, we adjourn to the Del City Municipal Service Authority.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Take the vote. Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Councilman Finch. Aye. Councilman Brown.
Aye.
Councilman Tatum.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. We are now adjourned from the city council meeting, and we call to order the Del City Municipal Services Authority. Joe, would you call the roll, please?
Trustee Dean.
Here.
Trustee Finch.
Here.
Trustee Brown.
Here.
Trustee Tatum.
Here.
And Chairman Eason.
Chairman is here. Is there anybody in the public that would like to address the trust on non-agenda items? Seeing none, trustees, do you have anything non-agenda? Seeing none, move on to item number 4, manager's report.
The one item I want to make sure we bring up and have it on the record, as you all know, we were unable to run sanitation last week, Monday being a holiday, Tuesday and Wednesday being severe weather days, and then Thursday and Friday, there was no way with the limited resources we have to catch up appropriately. So everyone is going to receive on their water bill a $3 credit for anyone that takes sanitation from us. That was a number that we've discussed and looked at. If you would prefer, we can have that as a resolution for all of you at the next council meeting. If you all would like to do that, but I want to make sure that you all know we are trying to make sure that we discuss with our customers and let them know the situation that happened.
I prefer that we don't give a credit. There's no reason to,
I don't know about Michael Dean's household, but the same amount of trash is going to be collected at the end of the month, because even though my dumpster, my container might be full, I'm not going to empty it. They're going to pick up the same volume of trash, even though they didn't pick up on 1 week. Let's look at it.
Yes, sir.
Take a moment and look at it. Okay.
Well, and I would add that from the feedback that I've seen and heard, it didn't seem like anyone was really that appreciative of $3 anyways. It was almost like a spit in the eye. So I would just like you, well, then it's fine. I'll keep it.
Okay.
Wait, So I think we should take this into consideration because I don't field the calls for the complaints. We know who fields the calls for the complaints. Those 10 people that were on there trashing us because it was only $3, those will be the ones that'll be griping on social media, putting in the calls. So I think you need to take it into consideration. And is it $3 for everyone, or is it just $3 for the people that call and complain?
Why don't we, I'm just going to throw this out there as an idea. Rather than credit $3 on your water bill, which doesn't really mean much to anybody, the ones that call in and would like an extra pickup, let's just take care of them. What do you think?
We can work with that.
Between now and their next, if they call in between now and their next scheduled pickup.
And luckily, we're already, they did, get Ward 1 picked up. They're already into Ward 2. They're already moving
3 and
through,
4.
and I mean, we can check with,
If somebody's in a bind in 3 or 4, just take care of them.
yep. Yeah, and that's what and that's what I'm saying, this is, they're going to take care of them, everything's going to be picked up, but the $3 a water bill, which everybody says isn't much or a spit in the eye, that's $24,000, which could be that little playground piece for your,
Yep. Okay, moving on. What else you got?
That's all I have, sir.
All right, very good. Let's move on to item number 5, minutes. Discussion, consideration, possible action to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of DCMSA of February 3, 2025. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Take the vote. Trustee Dean.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Tatum.
Aye.
Trustee Finch. Chair votes aye. The motion carries. Move on to item number 6, purchase of sanitation 96-gallon polycarts. Discussion, consideration, possible action to approve with modifications, or deny the purchase of 364 toter 96-gallon polycarts at a price of $65.96 each, for a total cost of $24,009.44. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve as written.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Here's the $24,000 we just
Right
saved on the
back.
previous one. Yep, there we go. You got your trash, you got extra trash cans.
Now, wait a minute, you just promised it for my park. Wait. Yeah,
right.
wait.
All right, moving on. We have a motion and a second. Let's take the vote. Trustee Dean.
Aye.
Trustee Tatum.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Finch. Chair votes aye. The motion carries. Move on to item number 7, emergency sewer line replacement, 3405 Delview. Discussion, consideration, possible action to approve with modifications, or deny the emergency replacement of up to 15 feet of sewer line at 3405 Delview to be done by Urban Contractors, LLC, for a total cost not to exceed $13,250. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion that we approve the emergency replacement at 3405 Delview by Urban Contractors for amount not to exceed $13,250.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Take the vote. Trustee Dean.
Aye.
Trustee Tatum.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Finch. Chair votes aye. Motion carries. Item number 8 is the one we've been waiting for, right, Michael?
Absolutely.
All right. Item number 8 is award bid RFP number 2501, Water Treatment Plant Filter Media, CNC Environmental Services. Discussion, consideration, possible action, approve or deny awarding the bid for RFP number 2501, Total Filter Media Replacement for the water treatment plant to CNC Environmental Services for $70,000, pending legal approval.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I'd like to update you guys. This is some of the problems that we've had with Lake Thunderbird getting the water up here is a tremendous amount of sediment had stayed at our relift station, which is over on I-240. And so we had worked on cleaning that out, and we found out that there was a lot more there than than we expected. So anyway, in the last month to 2 months, they've come back through and they were actually able to get rid of, from where we got down to maybe 60% of it left the last time we worked on it. Now it's down to 10 to 15%. They were able to significantly clean that out. So that's a source of a lot of contaminants that could go in and and cause issues with these filters. So anyway, so now that that's cleaned out, now it is a fantastic time to get this done. The idea that we had with this is to go and get this. This is one of 4 filters that we're going to have completely done. So once we get these things done, this cleans the water. 90%, significant. This is the main way that you clean the water. And then we can, then from this, at this point, we can, now we can see how it goes, see if there's any problems, and see this, and then potentially move on forward with the other 3 at the right time. So this is a great step forward. This is going to really get us to be able to have a longer-term run with the water plant.
Yep. Michael Dean is our representative to the Board of Directors for ComCD, who controls and helps manage our share of Lake Thunderbird. And so he's very knowledgeable about the water supply coming from Lake Thunderbird. And thank you for serving on that board. We appreciate it as our representative.
And I'm just curious, if this is approved today, when might work begin on this?
Should begin within 10 days of your approval.
Not bad. All right, let's move forward. Trustee Finch.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Tatum.
Aye.
Trustee Dean.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, the motion carries. All right, Craig, get it fixed. This will be just a step in securing a good water supply, a good clean water supply for our citizens. This will greatly aid the purification of the water. Is that right, Craig? Thank you. Item number 9 is replacement of filter media at water treatment plant. 2022 council approved RFP number 0207. Discussion, consideration, possible action to approve or deny the purchase of carbon filter media from Cabot Norrit Americas Incorporated for an amount not to exceed $93,000. The material is to replace a portion of the filter media at the Dale City Water Plant. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve as written.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? This is just another step. We do this, is it annually that we replace the carbon in one? How often do we do that?
It's actually it's biannual.
Biannual.
And that's basically, we've got them set up to where the even numbered filters are replaced on even years, the odd number filters are replaced on odd years.
Gotcha. Okay, and this keeps our water tasting fresh and...
This is to removes the taste and odor.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Any further discussion? Let's take the vote. Trustee Finch?
Aye.
Trustee Tatum?
Aye.
Trustee Brown?
Aye.
Trustee Dean?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, the motion carries. Item number 10 is the employment agreement for the trust manager. Discussion, consideration, possible action to approve or deny entering into an employment agreement for the trust manager with James D. Hawk effective July 1, 2025 to June 30, 2026. Authorize chairman to endorse same. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve entering into an employment agreement for trust manager with James D. Hawk effective July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026. Authorize chairman to endorse same.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, let's take the vote. Trustee Finch.
Aye.
Trustee Dean.
Aye.
Trustee Tatum.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. The motion carries. JD, welcome to another year. Any further trust input?
Not input, but I do have a question about the water bills. Do we have access to emails of our residents or the owners?
If they've given us access, if they've given us their email whenever they filled out their application, we do have them on file, but sorry, she's saying we have to have them opt in. So we have some, not all.
Okay. Are we going to start a system where maybe we can start sending email reminders and maybe even possibly text messages to our residents? So then that way they can be up to date and not have to scroll through Facebook or social media to get updates on when or where their trash is going to come, or if they have, any updates from Water Department.
Yes, ma'am. A couple of months ago, the council approved some upgrades to our Tyler Technology software. So part of that is a civic engagement application that would go on a phone. So we would be able to do text pushes and updates to our citizens. We've also asked on a couple of occasions for any of our citizens to update their contact information with us so we can gather that information. So we will have it when we're ready to push that out. So I think we're still looking about 9 months out on that.
But you think that it would be something that we would be able to do in the future?
Yeah, that's absolutely the path that we're trying to do, yes.
Excellent, thank you.
Kelly, I have a question real quick. When we first did our water meters, y'all were supposed to be able to see when there was a spike or get some type of warning if a particular house or business was using excess water. Do we still have that built in?
Yes, ma'am. That is something that Deputy Director Parrott reviews quite often and sends the team out when we need to.
Have we had a lot this week due to the fact of the water or the weather?
We have had more fire lines bust than actual water meters. There are a few that are out there, but we had more main breaks this time than the water meters themselves.
So Kelly, we have the ability to do this in this part. So is there a system that's actually being looked at and reviewed from Public Works to make sure, is it whenever she wants to, like at the end of the month, she thinks about doing this, or is there something that says that, that if this house has all of a sudden spiked up to, 20,000?
They do that regularly,
Yeah.
if
When
not
we-
daily, every other day.
When we were looking at the electronic meters, it seems in the discussion, they said there would be an alarm set if your line burst and you suddenly spiked.
Right, if you use like 5,000 gallons a day, is Brittany or somebody going to get an alarm, an email that says, take a look
Yes,
at
she's
this?
getting the alerts and reviewing that.
Oh, fantastic,
Okay.
thank you.
But I thought that the residents were going to have access to that. Is that only for the city, or will residents?
That is still in the process. I know that is something that we said would come. I don't have an update on when that will be available, but I believe Brittany Parrott talked about it a few weeks ago, but I don't recall what time frame she gave, but I will get that for you.
All right, thank you.
Excuse me, council members. You were asking about the meters. I was involved pretty heavily with that. So the program with the spiking, they get a top 10 usage every 24 hours. So it tells you gives you addresses and account numbers that explains to you which ones are using the most water for that 24-hour period, so that those are how they can go in and check those top 10 each morning. I know Chris DeRoy was doing it constantly, and Brittany's doing it constantly, so like I say, that kind of gives them an idea of what accounts are spiking in a 24-hour period, as opposed to looking at every single account.
So it's spiking, so like, I would imagine Oki Car Wash has been using a lot of water lately.
Yeah.
But so that wouldn't be part of the top 10?
No, sir. No, sir, because it'll be set on parameters.
Okay.
And so the spiking is if it goes above this specific
So-
parameter based
so
on
it'd be like a
usage history.
percentage of increase?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So a normal high water usage wouldn't be on the report?
Right.
Unless they just jumped?
Correct.
Great, okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, move on to item number 12.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Take the vote. Trustee Dean.
Aye.
Trustee Tatum.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Finch.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. We are now adjourned.